listen to the people calling us slaves. I can feel the sun.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Brian, and today is Tuesday, August 20th, 2024, and this is episode 757 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Dialing It In. I'll be chatting about our current setup at Delinquents Gully and what's coming up next with that. A problem to figure out to keep moving forward, and then we'll check some headlines and so much more. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Pickle Pete in early, driving along. Says, I made it to the Green River, Wyoming. Should be getting to Laramie by the end of the show. I thought you said you were going to be in South Dakota by the time the show came on. But anyway, saw your message. So Pickle Pete sent a message to his Telegram group, a screenshot, basically telling him to get the hell on the road and keep on moving because he was in wildfire territory. I have never experienced wildfire territory, but man, the message he got on his phone here, let me see if I can pull it up in, it says emergency alert. Must have popped up just because of the cell towers he was connected to. It says level 3, go now. Evacuation notice. A wildfire is threatening your safety if you're within the evacuation zone of 1869 Bohansky Drive northeast of Terrace Heights area, Yakima County, Washington. Get your family and pets in your vehicle and leave now. I mean, I guess that's a pretty stern warning. Get in your car and leave now. Good morning, Hunter, over on Twitch. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Man, that's a disturbing message. That's a disturbing message to get as you're traveling across the country. It's not like you're at home. You're used to getting these notices, or I mean, I don't know if I could ever get used to getting the notice of, hey, get your ass in your car with your family and your pets because your house is going to burn down. I don't know if you can really get used to that. Good morning, Bazo Kids TV. And Fozzie and Sorry, I think you might have stopped in the other day. I kind of remember that name. Rewilder Life, good morning. Hey, congratulations to you. Congratulations to Rewilder Life on the progress yesterday on her place. Holy crap. All it takes is a crane rolling in. And the house was there. I don't speak whatever language that is, but good morning over in the vertical feed. And what's up, Ross Rath? And how am I doing? Bazo Kids TV, how am I doing? I'm doing all right. It's Tuesday morning. We're getting rolling here. Pickle Pete says, which way out? Right. What way do you go when you're not familiar with the area and you get an alert for a forest fire? Which way do you go to get out? Good morning, everybody on that vertical feed. If you'd hit that like and hit the thumbs up, the subscribe, and hang out for a while, I appreciate that. Thanks for all stopping in. This morning, we're going to be talking about the property I'm working on. Good morning, Off-Grid Ping. Jamie, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. James, Chocolate Mike, Melanie Martinez fan, and Bazo, thanks for stopping in again over there on the vertical. What is going on? Holy crap. This is going to be interesting. Lionstone says, you just lie down and hide from the IRS. What? I'm not hiding from the IRS. What? Oh my God. Vertical feeds rolling this morning, guys. Good morning, Pip. And Rewilder Life says, man, this is a topic for me with the fire out at our land last week. Scary. Yeah, that was something else that popped into my head when Pete dropped the message in his Telegram group. I was like, oh, another emergency alert, another, you know, how many times do you get alerts on your phone that you're just like, doesn't apply to me, doesn't apply to me. I quite often, Canadian Farmstead says I look like I'm hiding from the IRS. I mean, whatever. I'm not very good at hiding if I'm on the internet 5 days a week, plus all the videos and everything else out there. So I guess I'm either really bad at hiding or I'm not hiding at all. But how many phone messages do you get? Alerts do you get? I get silver alerts. I get amber alerts. All of that. Texas was so bad for the amber alerts. Texas is such a big state. Good morning, Melanie. How are you doing? Texas is such a big state, and then you have you're getting amber alerts from all the way across the state. And it's like, it would take them 2 days to drive to where I'm at. Why am I getting blown up on my phone at 2 a.m? And so it kind of desensitizes you to it. You get the silver alerts, you get the weather alerts, blah, 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 and all of that. Man, maybe you stop paying attention. Or maybe if you're in an area where a wildfire or a fire alert is something common, or you've been watching the news and it pops up, that you actually pay attention to it. But man, I wouldn't like that one. Rewilder Life says, hiding in plain sight. I'm not. Maybe. Who are we? Wait. Rewilder Life missed something. Who's running? I think I missed something too. I don't know. Trump and Harris are running, I think. Inferno says, how much money would it take you to stream shirtless? I don't know. I'll show you my weenus for $20. Lucifer says California have not been getting as many as they've gotten the last 2 years ago. If the police could do yearly checkups and just barge in looking for missing children, that would work. Oh, Amber Alerts. Canadian Farmstead says we should all get paid to watch me stream shirtless, and Pickle Pete saying tips for nips. Oh man. Anyway, what's up, GSF 415? Got your message yesterday. Appreciate it. Yeah. Anyway, what's in the cup today? Rolling into the day with a French press of GSD, Get Shit Done blend, from foodforestfarms.com and the Lots Project. We teamed up together. We spun up a fantastic coffee, air roasted, micro batch air roasted, naturally about the highest caffeine content as you're going to get in a coffee. No caffeine added, but man, it will wake you up. It'll get you rolling, and it's not going to make you jittery. It's going to wake you up. It's going to allow you to get things done. It's not going to make you jittery. You're not going to have a huge caffeine crash after the fact. So check it out. Get Shit Done blend, GSD blend at foodforestfarms.com. foodforestfarms.com. There's coffee and so much more there. Check it out. You can get a discount, 10% off with LOTS 10, LOTS 10. LOTS 10 will get you 10% off over at foodforestfarms.com, and always free shipping. Check out the C4 Club while you're there. It's me, go slow, come fast. Good. Yeah. I kind of put that together, man. I'm not that dense. So appreciate that. So I just wanted to kind of talk this morning. I was having a kind of a mental break yesterday. not mental break, mental block. I worked on videos all morning, got one put up, but got a lot of organizing done on what? I got a lot of done on kind of organizing the step forward with Amazon influencer stuff, with with YouTube, and where I want to go with videos and what I want to do with this channel. And I have a review channel spun up and try to figure out frequency and what what type of videos put where. Been listening and watching a lot of YouTube growth videos, I guess. vidIQ. If you haven't checked out any, if you're trying to grow a YouTube channel and you're looking for some advice, check out vidIQ or Tube. Was it TubeBuddy? I think TubeBuddy was the other one that. TubeBuddy is an extension that I've used for like keyword help and things like that. They also have a channel that's really good that puts up a lot of good content. But that's what I kind of worked on yesterday, and then by the end of the day, I was like, "What am I going to talk about today?" I kind of had a little mental block going into the evening, so kind of wanted to check out. I wanted to check in with Delinquents Gully. I know we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but kind of where we're at with the property, where we're headed, and what kind of the plan is. So right now, as of now, out at Delinquents Gully, we have a couple structures up. Actually, four, I guess, technically four structures. We got outhouse was first thing up. We got Tim's cabin, which is now 16 by 16 with an 8 by 8 secondary structure. Bathhouse is what it's going to be. And then we have our metal shed up at our site that we're going to build at, and a canvas tarp carport. Everything's doing well. The structures are holding in well, and I think we made good choices on what we put up and where we put them. But we're pretty much spending weekends out there at this point. Do they have orgies at this structure? Not yet. Lucifer asks, who's my favorite designer? Designer of what? And so we have started spending weekends out there. We've spent 2 weekends out there. Back in July, we had kind of targeted the first weekend of August. Actually, probably in June. We were looking at the calendar and we said, okay, well, we want to get XYZ done. We want to be able to stay out for the we want to stay out for the weekend, and it looked like we were targeting the beginning of August. We had a little setback with the lightning strike, with fixing the camper, with not being able to get out and get some stuff done. But we ended up like a week late, 2 weeks late. I think it was actually the second weekend in August that we got out there, spent the weekend. We spent last weekend out there. We're kind of dialing in. We're dialing in the process. We're dialing in the setup. And I think we're getting to a place that we're getting really comfortable out there. We can function. There's stuff we're taking out that is a one-time trip. If you don't know, everything that we take in for the weekend, everything that we take in to use gets hauled in by a cart, a hand cart, a pull cart, one of those Lowe's inflatable tire 1,200-pound max capacity carts. So as of now, I think this weekend we took 3 trips in and 3 trips out with the cart. I should say we. Corey carried in a bag, backpack, and the dogs. Actually, I think she did 2 backpacks and the dogs. And Rewilder Life says, "Oh, this sounds like my life for 3 years." Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And so Corey carried in a couple backpacks with the dogs. I carried in the first load in the cart with the gates to keep the dogs in the doors. And I think I made 2 more trips, which isn't horrible. Inferno says, "Can you give me financial advice? Some buy Bitcoin." This isn't actually financial advice, but that would be my suggestion. So we're down to 3 trips. We did leave some stuff this week, this past weekend. So I think it's gonna be 3 trips. Trying to wrap my head around just the volume of things that we need to bring up, like water jugs, our fridge that we've been using, which has been working really good, guys. I'm gonna do another review video about it. I actually got on the list yesterday. I got it on the list yesterday, but the Go 20 cooler by Iceco, we've been using it. I've been using it quite a bit for groceries. With it being so hot here, it sits in the back of the truck, not in the back seat of the truck. And when I get groceries, I'm about a half hour away, and when the truck sits in the sun and it's 90 plus degrees, and you have meat and eggs and all sorts of stuff that you want to keep cold, it's nice to have that refrigerator. It's pretty much a refrigerator in the back seat of the truck. It's nice to have it. And so that's got a DC, like the cigarette lighter adapter plug. It also has a converter to plug into the wall. But it's been really convenient to have when we want to spend the weekend out there and bring all the food we want for the weekend and keep it cold instead of using a cooler and ice and all of that. Basically, I took one of the smaller power banks, the R600, the 600 watt power bank. Bless you, Corey. The 600 watt power bank that I got from All Powers, the smaller one of the 2 that I got. That lasts all weekend with this fridge. It pulls when it's running. It's pulling like 40 to 50 watts. But once it's cold, it doesn't run very much. If you don't open it up, it doesn't run very much. And when it runs for a very short period of time. So that little battery bank, that's its dedicated purpose now. Basically, the fridge stays plugged into it. It powers it, and then I've started using it too in the car. Like when I go, or in the truck when I go in to go grocery shopping, I just plug it into that power bank, let it cool down, and when I come out, it's already cold. Prior, I had been like plugging it in before I got to the store, letting it cool down, and then it didn't really warm up that much as I was in the store. But now I just keep it plugged into that power bank, and when we're out at the cabin, we have several solar panels around, just loose panels. But and I can plug it in and it tops it off almost immediately. So our power solution for our refrigeration is working really well. We do have a trip that we're planning on over Labor Day weekend. Corey has some extra time off, so we're looking like we're taking a 5-day trip out there. That will be the longest at that point. At that point, we'll only have been 2.5. Like we go out Friday after work and we come back on Sunday. So what is that? 2 days. We're going to be 5 days. I think we're going to take off Wednesday after work and roll back on Monday afternoon. So it will be a significant amount of time longer. And I don't think that this is going to be big enough to hold all our stuff we need. we'll probably end up running with a cooler plus that, and probably try to strategize to keep from opening the cooler, block of ice in there, and put the stuff in there we need. Who smokes meth? I is that still a thing? Is meth still a thing out there? I don't know. No, I don't smoke meth over there in the vertical feed. But anyway, we'll have to go a little bigger on the refrigeration, but keeping that little battery bank powered up and the refrigerator going has been very convenient. It's just been an afterthought after that first weekend after we got it set up and realized that it's just going to work. It's going to kind of take care of itself. So refrigeration's all locked down. As far as water, we've been toting that in and out. This past weekend, when we got out there, we already had 11 gallons, I believe 11 gallons of filtered water. So we bought a new water filter for out there that just lives out there now. And we carry back tap water back and forth with 6-gallon jerry cans. For the weekend, last weekend, we brought the new sink that I put the video out yesterday, a new kind of jerry can with a spout on it, 3-gallon jerry can. We brought that full, and then we brought 2 6-gallons with us. So that was a total of 15 gallons of water. We were able to leave the 3-gallon out there full by the end of the weekend. So at this point, traveling back and forth, it looks like we'll be bringing 2 6-gallon jerry cans. And I usually bring those out earlier in the week. I fill them up and leave them out there because we don't use them at home as much. But the plan going forward with that is using the 75-gallon tank that we had in the truck, taking that 75-gallon tank and trying to fill it up there. We have IBC tote on hand, but this tank that I got for the back of the truck when we were traveling full time to store extra water has hose bibs on it, has hose fittings on it, and also hoses attached to it. So if I can get down to the creek that runs next to the cabin down the hill and get a small pump, I think I'll be able to pump up a little bit of water. There's a project we're going to be doing at work day that we're going to work on a dam to pool up the water. Basically our problem with pumping a significant amount of water right now is there's no pockets big enough to collect a lot of water at once. If you turn the pump on, it would drain the water down, and the flow of the water I don't believe it's more than what the pump will pump. So I think the pump is like a 2 gallon a minute or something like that. And the water flow in the creek replenishing the little pocket of water is probably less than that. So I just have to figure it out. Basically, I got to cut a path down to the water. I got to cut a path down there. I have to find as big a pocket as I can find, and hopefully, Pip says, "So bring water shoes to work day." I mean, if you want, there'll be plenty of stuff to do, Pip. I just know that that's one of the things we're going to be working on. If people are interested in working on it, if not, then that's just going to fall to me to do on my own after the fact. So it's going to be on the list if people want to work on it at work day. It should be an interesting project. It definitely should be an interesting project. So that I think, though, I'm hoping that the pump that's there or the pump that I have, I'll be able to start slowly pumping up water prior to putting the dam in. So basically, 10 gallons at a time. Let it replenish 10 gallons at a time. Off-Grid Ping says, I totally didn't even think about the sink I have when you were telling me about your plan, your Ken, I'm guessing plan. I have a foot pump hand sink that you're more than welcome to use. I think our sink was exactly what we needed. It's more of instead of the foot pump, I think instead of it being powered like with the foot pump, it was more the fact that it's 3 gallon storage and easy to transport, and has the removable spout that turns into a cap. So if we really wanted to transport 15 gallons of water instead of the 12 gallons of water, we can do that. The other option I have is to actually put the 75 gallon tank back in the truck and fill that up. Rewild their life, and this is something that I might be able to do in the short term, and it's really she says her hubby made a 5 gallon bucket with a screen and dug out the area to fit that. It filled while we pumped, and then we used the generator to pump. So that is kind of the basic idea. And the dam is going to be kind of that version on steroids, basically creating both a pocket of water and then hopefully enough drop and change in elevation to where we'll be able to use a ram pump. And she says it was a temporary solution. Yeah, and that's kind of what ours is going to be. I'm hoping that I can find a pocket that's already currently big enough. And Tim's been poking around down in there when he was around before it all overgrew this summer. And I'm hoping that he dug out enough of a pocket that we can just like slow pump, let it refill, and just get us through until that first weekend in October. And then after that, I can figure out how much we got done with the dam project and things like that. So, but that being said, this is all stuff I'm doing for Tim's cabin, to make us comfortable out there, and spending more and more and more time out there gets us more work done on our site. And our site right now is at a point where it just needs a few more trees dropped. A lot of trees chunked up and moved that dropped on the site where we want to put the cabin. And then basically a good scalping of the ground. I've been looking for a used beat up lawnmower, like those $10, $15 lawnmowers that you just hope starts. But basically I want to find one that starts, give the guy $10, $15 for it, bring it up and run it through this area. Because it's going to beat the shit out of it. I don't want to spend $200 on a brand new lawnmower and take it up there and just rip it through a bunch of small tree trunks and rocks and not really rocks. There aren't a whole lot of rocks around here, but lots of stumps, lots of stuff that'll fuck up a lawnmower blade. So just looking for a beater to beat the crap out of more, basically. But once we get that skimmed down, then we can start planning post holes and moving forward with that cabin build. One big problem that I have that I'm trying to figure out, and Corey brought it up yesterday, I hadn't even thought about it. So we've been spending weekends at the cabin, at Tim's cabin. So the last two, we plan on spending every weekend going forward there. We were trying to think of reasons why we shouldn't or couldn't, and I don't really know of any. Corey took a bunch more vacation days, planned out a bunch more vacation days for the rest of the year to get some longer stays out there. And like technically, if she can work from there, we could go out semi-permanently to really kick it in the ass with getting some stuff done. So she brought up yesterday. She says, "So what are you going to do about your morning show when we go out during the week? Because as of in a couple of weeks here, Labor Day weekend, we decided to we're going to go out Wednesday afternoon. She took Thursday, Friday, and has Labor Day off. So she's like, what are we going to do? We have Starlink when we go out. We take the Starlink with us. But as of right now, it's a pretty obstructed view. For the internet we've actually used while we were out there, basically, you know, sitting down, checking Telegram, dicking around on stuff before bed or in the morning while we're having coffee. The obstructed Starlink doesn't really make a difference. For live streaming, it's a bigger deal. We remember when I was traveling, when I couldn't get a good view and it would cut out every 10 minutes or whatever. Well, that's not acceptable for Corey's work. This in the near term, everything will be while she's off of work, so we don't have to worry about it. But if I want to do my show, which I do, I want to continue to do it Monday through Friday. A, just because of the episode numbering, and B, because I enjoy hanging out with you guys every weekday morning. I need to find a spot to put it with a clear view, and I think that's gonna come down to dropping some trees, basically finding how far the cable will reach out for me. I think I got 170-foot cable, pulling that out behind the cabin. And finding a good spot that I can just drop the trees that are obstructing it. GSFs is enough talk to show us your weenus, you hairy beast. I haven't seen that $20 super chat. If I get that $20 dropping in, I'll pop the weenus up on the screen very, very quickly. You'll have to look quick though, because it's tiny and it will only be up there for a short period of time. So that's my problem. My biggest problem right now is figuring out Starlink by the Thursday we go out, so I can do the show. And we'll do some testing. And she was wondering too, without the laptop. And that's another thing that I didn't consider with the lightning strike, with my laptop frying, with going to this mini computer and these monitors. It might be like a from the phone deal until we're out there. Like, it doesn't make sense if we go out for a long weekend for a Friday. Pickle Pete says height helps. Yeah, and that's another thing I was thinking about too. I'll come up with some creative solutions for sure. I was thinking about on top of the cabin, but when I was out there this past weekend, I was looking, and the cabin's pretty shaded. The cabin definitely has some trees around it. It kind of makes me uneasy seeing how diligent we're being about clearing the trees around our cabin site that we're going to build. We really didn't do that with Tim's. And so there is some pretty tall trees around it. So I'll figure it out. Pickle Pete says top a tree and build a sat perch. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I have some some areas that I think I'm gonna go with. So it should work. And then I'll just have to figure out. I have an extra screen, portable screen. Corey has like these Surface Surface Pro or some older little tablet I think I could use, and my phone. I think we could figure it out. It might be a testing and a struggle that first morning or two, but we'll figure it out. Off Grid Ping says trees do like to fall over around these parts. Yeah, it's amazing how much they do fall over, but it's not unusual when they're that close together and that tall. The trees in the woods at Delinquents Gully are different than any woods I've been in. But from Western New York to Minnesota, where I spent a lot of time in the woods in both of those places, the woods in West Tennessee are a little different. Super tall, super straight, and lots of falling over are the trees in this area for sure. So we'll see how it goes. So yeah, we're good on water temporarily. We're working on getting it so we don't have to transport water back and forth. That will be phenomenal. And all these things, I talked to Tim about them. Like, hey, dude, I'm thinking about putting some time in on getting you some water. Okay. This all makes it easier for him to come down and stay. It changes the dynamic of what he needs to bring, what he can get accomplished while he's here, and how much he can enjoy his stay. So I think it's all a win-win. So water right now we're set up. We have a little kitchen set up. Corey did a fantastic job of getting everything kind of set up and functional with our dishes, with our cooking utensils, with the pots and pans, with the sink set up. She made herself a little paper towel holder out of paracord. Just useful things. And as I was watching her do it, I was like, you know what? It really reminds me that she's had a lot of practice doing this. The cabin that she grew up in, basically, well, for quite a while, it was they had a trailer at the lake, but then her parents decided to build a cabin, which turned out to start to be as a basement, and it's still a basement with a flat roof on top. It's fantastic. But it was a basement. It was a cinder block. It was a hole in the ground with cinder block foundation. No bathroom, no water, no nothing when they started, and they've kind of built it up, and it's really comfortable now. But they figured out how to make it work. And so her being around that for so long and seeing her mom adjust, her adjusting, her family adjusting, and living that way really is an advantage for us, kind of developing how to make it work at the cabin now. So we're excited. As far as electricity, we need to get better solar aspect. Like coming, I mentioned all the tall trees around Tim's cabin. It doesn't help with the solar. We do have one solar panel permanently installed, well, semi-permanently installed, that Sean Mills from Hack My Homestead came out and we hooked one up for Tim's power banks while he was staying out here. I think it needs to be moved. Corey and I were kind of looking at it. I've been contemplating it for a while. I think I need to move it forward. I need to clear a new area. I think there's some trees down in the front of the cabin that really should come down. They're leaning, they're dead, they're split, things like that. And this would open up a pocket probably 15 yards away from where the solar panel is, but I think it'll get significantly more sun consistently. And the plan was to add on some more panels as things develop out there. And I think this would provide a little bit more room to put a solar field and get a little bit more exposure during the day. But we have been using that one panel to keep the fridge battery bank topped off. And I have several one-off panels, 200-watt panel, 100-watt panel, and I just need to buy, basically, I think I need to buy a spool of cable and a junction box. Basically, something to tie all these individual panels together so we can get a little bit more charging when the sun actually hits them. So instead of just using one-offs here, moving the battery bank, all my cables are super small. So basically the battery bank has to sit within 5 feet of the solar panel. And I don't really want to unhook everything to go charge it. So we've been topping things off with the generator. Generator's been working great with the propane. 30-pound propane tank lasted us over 2 weekends. So that's not bad. But every bit of solar that we can use will make that cost go down. So that's water, power. Insulation's going well. I'm gonna probably finish up some of that today when I head out today, spend the rest of the week out there. Actually, I had my office day yesterday. I'll be out there. I'll be working on insulation, house wrap, and getting down to the creek, like I said, to get that water. So everything's going well. At that cabin. I'm excited to be out there more and just get more time up at our site clearing and a laundry list of other projects and prepping for work day this fall. So that's kind of a Delinquent Gully update. So the big problem I had that I mentioned is the Starlink access, is getting that clear and figuring out how to do this show while I'm out there. So if that's the biggest of my worries, I'm doing good. So comfortable to stay out there. The dogs are comfortable out there. They enjoy it. They've gotten to a point where it's only been 2 weekends, but last week, when Corey said, all right, it's time to go to the cabin, the dogs both went and sat at the door. So I think they like going out there. I think they like the car ride. I think they like being in the cabin. Clyde definitely likes the armadillos and wants to go play with them, which I don't know if play is the appropriate word. I don't think he would be having the armadillo. Like Clyde would be having a fantastic time. I don't think the armadillo would be having too much fun if Clyde took off after him. So still working on that. Norman only reacts to things after Clyde does, pretty much. So if we can get Clyde to not freak out over the armadillos, then I think Norman would be solid too. Excuse me. Couple of things on the list. Canadian Farm System would make for good content. What's that? Clyde and the armadillo. I don't know if I want to see that. I don't know. that could jade my view of that dog quite a bit. I think I don't know how he would do. I don't know if he would treat it like a toy, or he would just tear the shit out of it. I don't know. I'll have to talk to Corey about that. See what she thinks. So yeah, that's kind of the Delinquents Gully update. I had a couple of news stories here that popped up in my feed that I threw on the list. One thing is this space station stuff. Have you guys, like, I don't watch the news and I really don't hit headlines. I don't go to like the news sites. I am not on a whole lot of since the whole lightning strike, I haven't been on a whole lot of mainstream social media. I'm definitely not on the news sites. I don't see a whole lot. Has there been a whole lot about the two people stuck at the space station? Is this newsworthy still? I mean, it's going on 3 months. 3 months is how long they've been up there. They were supposed to be up there for 8 days. They've now been up there for 3 months. Are they still talking about it on the news? I know they're talking about a fucking roundabout in Clarksville, which is absolutely insane. Canadian Farmstead says, I think I saw a meme about it a few months ago, and Pickle P says it's blacked out. No, not talking about the space, this lost in space. Hunter says he never heard about it on the news. He just saw a meme. Pickle P says Elon will rescue them. Okay, so that's the deal. So I was reading into a little bit about it today because I had heard it in passing when it was like they were supposed to be up there for 8 days. This must have been like day 10 or 11 where they're like, oh, yeah, we're fixing the spaceship and they're going to go get them and blah, 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 and blah, and all this stuff. Good morning, John Palmer. Yeah, Jamie, you gotta bow out on this conversation, I guess. So they sent these two up there, and right away they started having problems, and so they got 2 issues with this spacecraft. So their thrusters, half their thrusters aren't working, and they have a huge helium leak. Great for a space trip. Pickle P says Boeing effed up. Yeah, that's the thing. Boeing fucking again drops the ball. And I saw another yesterday, a picture of a plane landing with part of the engine sheathing gone. Part of the hey, Pip says he's got a couple of Valery Palenkov spent 437 days in space. Frank Rubio spent 371. But were those planned, Pip? Because these folks were supposed to be there for 8 days. Was Valerie the one that was Valerie the one that got stuck there? Canadian Farm says this will get all fixed by the astronauts offing themselves in a motel. Yeah. Oh, for sure. So Boeing spacecraft or whatever the fuck it's called is a no-go right now. So they're trying to figure out how to get these folks back, and it's looking like what'll end up happening is SpaceX is going to go get them. They're talking to Elon about using his spaceship. So yeah, I guess the chicks from Tennessee. So that's it's interesting to me that it faded away. It's not surprising. It's not surprising that that it's disappeared, and it's being overshadowed by Rhonda the Roundabout and cackling Kamala. So speaking of that whole thing started yesterday. The DNC, the Democratic National Convention, and I wasn't diving in to look too much into it, but I was scrolling through something, and it was just like DNC, and I was like, what the fuck? They're really pumping the shit out of this. And then I saw the article that I wish I had seen a couple months ago. The DNC has given exclusive access to over 200 content creators to come to the convention and cover it and get the word out there. I wanted an invitation. I think I could do the public a service by being at this convention. But my favorite part of the article was I pulled it up and I was like, I'm curious who they picked. Canadian Farmstead says, I think this has already happened. It's been 3 months. How many months till one astronaut says to the other, we may have to repopulate this space station? I'm guessing it's already happening, dude. So it says more than 200 digital content creators will attend the Democratic National Convention in Chicago this week with dedicated creator credentials that will grant these influencers special access to the party's convention. And here we go. Bringing creators to our convention will multiply our reach and ensure that everyone can witness democracy in action. Kiana Mackey Nance, director of digital strategy for the Democratic National Convention Committee, said in a statement to CNBC. So this is to show democracy in action. This is to show the fact that they shoo in Sniffy Joe. They roll Sniffy Joe through all the primaries, don't have any votes, don't have any of that stuff. They anoint him the candidate, and then pull a fucking a Fugazi and throw in Harris at the last minute. I'm not sure that's the definition of democracy. Unless something goes completely sideways at the convention and they actually vote on the candidate that the party thinks is the best, which, I mean, it's all bullshit, and this is just hypothetical that it actually would make a difference. But I don't think democracy is just like, we pick our candidate, go fuck yourself. Rewilder Life says the astronaut that was stuck on the space station while it was on fire lives here. My kids played in orchestra with his kids for years. That's pretty cool. Pip says free vasectomy at the DNC party. Pickle Pete says go work it, paid to protest outside. Canadian Farmstead says, is it democracy if they've decided on the candidate before the convention? John Palmer says the DNC stands for democracy not coming. Huh, yeah. What's up, Sosa Savage? How we doing? Hello to you. I just had to ignore all the nonsense going on there with Lucifer and GSF. That was just a little much. I'm sorry about that. So yeah, so the DNC has started. You got pictures from, always with the pictures of the crowd size. The first thing I saw on, and so Noster's pretty non-political for the most part. You do get a lot of memes that I believe are more I don't fucking care. Like let's make memes about all of it. Not anti-Democrat, anti-Republican. They're just anti-politics. And then there's a few there that get kind of wound up about the shit. But I was scrolling through and I saw these pictures and it said the first day of the DNC versus the first day of the RNC. And I don't know if they were edited or not, but it looks like there was a lot more support on the right. The right as being the RNC. I don't know. I just don't think it matters. If you think back 4 years ago, it was a foregone conclusion what was going to happen in the election, and it turned upside down. I just don't see if you support a candidate that has the optics that Trump had last time versus the optics that Biden had last time, like support wise, and you go in and you vote and you're excited and you find out that Biden, they stole it, or maybe the optics were wrong, whatever the whole thing was, whether it was a stolen election, whether it was ballot stuffing, whatever the fuck it was. If you weren't jaded enough in the system to step away, Off-Grid Ping says turned upside down or went exactly as planned. Yeah, I mean, looking from the outside in, we can say that, but I'm saying if you were a Trump supporter, or I mean, I guess when you win, you don't get jaded. If you were a Biden supporter and he ends up winning, obviously that's not going to jade you. But if you were a Trump supporter and you looked at this whole thing, and I mean, rightfully so, at the end, they scream and yell, they stole the election, blah, blah, blah. And if you're still voting, you get what you deserve. Like, if I'm walking up to somebody and I have a 90% reassurance that they're friendly and they're not going to just out of the blue punch me in the fucking face, and I walk up to the person and I catch a fucking right hook in the jaw, if I walk up to another person, a random stranger, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever, this guy looks really friendly, he's not gonna hit me. Like, I get everything I deserve. If you supported Trump, if you supported whatever, Canadian Farmstead says I have the best analogies. I don't even know how to talk about something that ridiculous, though. Like, what do you think is going to change this time? We haven't, like, it's hard to talk about seriously because it's so asinine. The voting system here, before, so what was it last time was Trump and Biden. Who was it? Who did Trump beat? I can't even picture this in my head. So it was Trump and Biden, and before that Trump was president, but who did he beat? Like, I don't even remember. Like, this has been so asinine for so long. I can't even figure. Oh, Hillary. That's right. How did they ever let him beat her? Pickle Pete says court packing and constitutional abandonment. I really wish I could pack up. I really wish I could pack up and and travel time maybe 500 years from now or 1,000 years from now. And look back and see what the history books say about us. Pip says, yeah, I mean, that's how important it was to me. Somebody says, how could I forget Killary and her trail of corpses? And Pip says, wipe the servers with a rag. Like, I don't care anymore. I had already checked out before that, guys. So probably even before that, but it's been at least 8 years, I guess, at least 10 years since I've really, I pay enough attention to be able to talk coherently here and there about, well, that's questionable, to know a little bit about what's going on. But it doesn't register in the memory banks to recall again. Once it gets pushed out by something important, like my to-do list to build a cabin or shit like that. Lucifer says Sarah Palin and John McCain. I do kind of remember that one. That was back before I really checked out. I was on my way. To being done with the Palin McCain, and that whole team that they picked was the beginning of the end. Pip says he stopped caring after the news blackballed Ron Paul. I started feeling suspicious when John McCain and Sarah Palin were the best people to run this country. When I looked at it, Canadian Farm says most important election of your lifetime. It's so important. excuse me. It's so important. I'm going to vote a few times. Luckily, no ID is needed or citizenship. Apparently, he's just going to swing down. Can you mail in votes from Canada? Can you request? Canadian Farmstead needs to. Canadian Farmstead needs to request some absentee ballots. We need to do an experiment to see if our Canadian friend can request absentee ballots, get them in Canada, and mail them back in and have them count. That would be great. Oh, talk about good content. Using Clyde and Armadillo would be good. I'm pretty sure a Canadian requesting absentee ballots and voting in the American election would be phenomenal content. Oh, and guys, yeah, so it's going to be a shit show. For some reason, I feel like it's starting late. Is it that I just haven't been paying attention to any of the bullshit, or is all of this ramping up kind of late? It's already late August. The election is in November. I want to say that this shit usually is going on long before now. I don't know. Canadian Farm says he wouldn't do well in prison. I mean, if I ask for something and they give it to me and I just mail it back to them, is that considered election fraud on your part? There might be a certification on there where you have to swear that you're a citizen or something, but imagine all the people that should be in jail right now. Imagine all the people that should be in jail. Harris is going to go get them and put them in jail. I don't know. Pip says, dead people vote. Does that mean Phil Donahue is going to be voting this year again? I saw that Phil Donahue died. You guys know who Phil Donahue is? I remember Phil Donahue from when I was a kid. Prior to Oprah. So I remember as a kid, we would watch afternoon shows like Reading Rainbow, and Hunter says he was still alive. He was only 88. I think the dude had white hair in his 30s. But I remember watching like Reading Rainbow. Well, no, was that in the afternoon? I remember what was in the afternoon. Kids Incorporated, and some other shows on PBS, and then mom would pull up Phil Donahue while she made dinner. I remember Donahue was on for a long time, and then Oprah kind of came on the scene, and I can't quite picture it, but I feel like Oprah was before Phil Donahue, and it was like a 2-hour back-to-back talk show marathon. And then when he died, she kind of like took over as the queen of afternoon talk shows, if I remember correctly. But I remember that Phil Donahue set for sure. I can't quite place the theme music, but or anything they ever talked about, because I was just a little too young. But I do recall it being a daily occurrence. So 88 years old, the man made it to 88. He must not have had any information Wait, okay, Lucifer over in the vertical feed says, I would be an asexual freak in prison. No one would want me for fear of losing an eyeball or a testicle. What? And he says, oh no, rest in peace, Phil Donahue, Shelley Duvall, and Shannon Doherty. Oh, Shannon Doherty. Brenda, you bitch. So, Corey's dad, I've talked about it before. The mall that was in Mallrats was the mall. He was a business or the buildings and grounds maintenance boiler engineer. So he interacted with them a lot. Like he was their go-to guy for facility stuff when they were filming Mallrats. And so he Shannon Doherty died, I believe, when they were here visiting. And he's like, yeah, shit. I've heard everything I've heard of the woman is she was just very, very full of herself. And I guess you start acting, and they put you up on a pedestal like they did on 90210 with her, and basically celebrate her being a bitch. Why wouldn't that translate into her day-to-day life? Add in the fame and the movie star, TV star mentality, and there you go. So she wasn't the kind-hearted Keanu Reeves that I'm like. What's up with that dude? Everything I see about him is how much of a fantastic human being he is, and it's such an odd. It's like placed in such odd places. Lucifer says, I'm sorry, but that is what women need to do when a man tries to harm them. Was somebody trying to was somebody trying to hurt Shannon Doherty, touch her in her naughty spot? I mean, she was in Hollywood, I imagine. I would blame her parents for putting her in that situation. Michael Landon. Is he Michael Landon? Man, I should start talking about old school actors from my childhood. Michael Landon tried to touch Shannon Doherty in her naughty spot. Is that what you're saying, Lucifer? Hunter says this is my no square. Night, Pa. Don't touch me in my naughty spot. Michael Landon. Was he on Highway to Heaven? Was that Oh, Pip was wondering if Shannon Doherty went to Epstein Island. Canadian Pharmacist says, "We want to see my little house on my prairie." On the prairie. Time to put the chickens away, especially the rooster. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Christ. This needs to end very quickly. Guys, we're going to wrap it up today. It's quarter after. Be sure you head on over to foodforestfarms.com. Check out C4 Club. I haven't got much to say. This has just gone a little sideways. Thanks, Canadian Farmstead. Appreciate that. Other than that, we'll wrap it up. We'll circle back tomorrow. I got a bunch of work to do out at the Gully, so I'll have a lot of brainstorming time to figure out. Canadian Farm says, "Wonder where Jim was." He'll love to have clipped that. He'll listen later and clip it, I'm sure. And Pickle Pete says she rubbed his weenus. he had a bursa problem, so she had to massage his weenus. I'll have extra time to brainstorm today and come up with some good things to talk about. If you have stuff you'd like to talk about on the morning show, definitely let me know. You can drop me a message on Telegram. You can email me at info@thelotsproject.com. Other than that, it's Tuesday, guys. It's the beginning of the week. I hope you're having a good time. Pickle Pete, drive safe. Drive safe there and make the trip good. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I hope you have an awesome Tuesday, and we will catch back up with you on Hump Day.